With infinite universes comes infinite possibilities. My name is AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and these are the top 10 multiverses that you've never seen before. At number 10, what if JJ adopted Peter Parker? In this world, John Jonah Jameson, known for his fiery hatred of Spider-Man, actually becomes Peter Parker's adopted father. In this alternate reality, tragedy strikes as Jameson's son's Mars expedition ends in catastrophe, leading him to take Peter under his wing after the loss of Aunt May in the same accident. Jameson's wealth and influence catapult Peter into a world of privilege, sending him to the prestigious Phillips Academy and making him the assistant editor of the Reviel, Jameson's weekly newspaper. However, Jameson's obsession with Spider-Man remains intact, blaming the web slinger for the rocket crash due to the discovery of his webbing at the scene. This obsession leads to the creation of the Spider Slayer robot and the Scorpion suit, along with a hefty bounty on Spider-Man's head. When Flash Thompson becomes the Scorpion in a misguided attempt to protect Spider-Man, chaos ensues and Peter eventually reveals his secret identity in a fit of anger. What follows is a twist in the tale as Jameson, realizing the consequences of his vendetta, remotely piloted the Spider Slayer to save Peter from a group of supervillains. In a surprising turn of events, Jameson and Peter form an unlikely superhero duo operating out of the Daily Bugle. In the end, the thought of expanding Jameson and Son Heroes for Hire as a coast-to-coast superhero franchise lingers in Jameson's mind despite Peter's attempts to dissuade him. This is a character arc for the ages, you guys. At number 9, Jessica Jones joins the Avengers. Don't hold your breath if you want to see Jessica Jones in the Avengers, because apparently that only happens in one universe, and the way it happens, super freaking weird. In this reality, Jessica Jones doesn't have that immunity to Purple Man's mind control powers, and so after making her do terrible things for like 8 months, he eventually decides to finally use her against Daredevil. Somehow she gets confused and goes to the Avengers mansion instead and attacks a similarly dressed Scarlet Witch. The Avengers knock her around senselessly until she wakes up in the hospital after spending weeks in a coma, and the Avengers are apparently so ashamed that they decide to extend an offer to join the team. Seriously, that's how she joined the team, not her insane investigative skills or the fact that in this reality she's mastered the power of flight and strength. Nope, they gave her a pity invite because they were impressed she survived the beating. Good lord. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. At number 8, Kang nukes Earth. In the very first page of this Avengers issue, Storm is introduced as an Avenger, but unfortunately this crossover is very short-lived. Hercules and Colossus are there too, but not for long. Iron Man finally shows up and gives a gift to the president, but there's a disturbance in the crowd as what looks to be like Tony Stark attempts to rush the president, warning that Iron Man is an imposter, and oops, too late. The president yanks the box open and the miniature nuke goes off, wiping out the Avengers and leveling the entire city, all according to Kang's plan, who had been wearing Iron Man's suit. But what Kang didn't account for was the fact that US forces immediately retaliated to what they presumed to be a Soviet attack, thus sparking a thermonuclear war of which Kang was the sole survivor. Not much left to conquer now, eh buddy? At number 7 is Spider-Rex. You probably saw Spider-Rex cameo in the Spider-Verse movie, but for those of you who haven't read his Origins comic, it begins in a prehistoric Earth where a T-Rex named Norman-Osborn. Just as a Norman Osborn dinosaur was about to take a bite out of Parker, bam! A meteorite crashes down, and it's not your ordinary space rock, it's filled with alien spiders. These cosmic arachnids do something wild. They actually swap Norman and Peter Parker's bodies and give them some spiffy costumes to boot. Now Norman's mind is in the pterodactyl thing, and vice versa. Chaos ensues as they try to figure out their newfound powers. Parker, now a T-Rex with spider abilities, takes on Norman and his gang, realizing the responsibility that comes with his newfound strength. At number 6 is Otterman. Kal-El, the son of Ted Turner and Jane Fonda, time travels from the 51st century to good old 2002 using a makeshift time machine made of PlayStation 1 parts and Atari controllers. Why? Because his hometown is being obliterated by meteors, of course. Now once Kal-El arrives in the present, he just kinda does stuff. And let me tell you folks, there is nothing in the storyline that connects to anything else, and none of it makes a lick of sense. Occasionally, some familiar Marvel heroes drop by and also do stuff, but guess what? None of that makes sense either. But the piece de la resistance is Cal and his group go way back to 100,000 BCE, where they witness an otter evolving into none other than Wolverine, the mutant hero we all know and love. That's right, an otter. And it turns out that this otter is the father of the entire human race. Yeah, somebody actually wrote this. So if you're up for a ride that defies all logic and reason, give Marvel a whirl. At number 5 is Spider-May. Instead of Peter Parker, Aunt May gets the radioactive spider bite. Yeah, Granny became a superhero. Talk about winning bingo night. May, just like Parker, initially thinks about cashing in on her newfound powers, trying to use them to earn some extra money, which is pretty relatable. But here's the twist. She eventually decides to use her abilities for good all on her own without Uncle Ben having to drop any wisdom bombs. The result? Uncle Ben lives a long, happy life. No, with great power comes great responsibility talk needed. It's like a heartwarming alternate universe that makes you think about the ripple effects of every decision in the Marvel multiverse. At number 4 is Steve Rogers. There's this universe where the Purple Man, the Marvel mind control villain, not to be confused with the purple guy from FNAF, rises to power in America, wiping out all the superheroes. Only Captain America remains, determined to stand against the tyranny. But the twist? Purple Man sends Cap back in time to the 17th century, specifically 1602, where he presumably won't do anything to foil his plans. Clearly the man has never read a comic book. Now in the past, we find a very acclimated Steve Rogers staying with Native Americans. Taking on the name Rogers, he strangely adopts the stilted speech patterns stereotypically associated with Native Americans in less enlightened times. It's an uncomfortable aspect of the story, highlighting the problematic portrayals of the past. However, amidst the discomfort, there is a silver lining. Dinosaurs. Yep, you've heard me right. In this Marvel multiverse, dinosaurs roam alongside our time-displaced hero, because I guess they never went extinct in this reality. So at least there are some epic dinosaur battles to juxtapose the cringe. Dinosaurs are always cool, no matter the timeline. At number 3, Milady, 'tis the clobbering hour. The multiverse, already a mind-bending realm of infinite possibilities, gets an extra layer of crazy thanks to Mr. Fantastic's curiosity. He's on a quest to find versions of Earth where the whole Superhuman Registration Act debacle didn't turn into a civil war. But wouldn't you know it, a pesky power outage messes everything up, and bam, reality is on the fritz. Now in this topsy-turvy multiverse mishap, you've got the Invisible Woman, but she's no longer the ordinary Sue Storm. No, now she's Queen Storm, and she's ruling over a medieval world with an iron grip. Her trusty sidekicks are her brother and the Thing. But hold on to your spandex, or shall I say unstable particles, because thanks to Mr. Fantastic's meddling, this universe ends up merging with others, giving us a collab between these guys and Fantastic Four versions that are pirates, cowboys, and World War II soldiers. It's a freaking crossover of the century. At number 2 is Marvel Zombies Destroy. We all know about the Marvel Zombies universe where we get to see our favorite heroes eating each other, but it's not the only Marvel Zombies reality in the multiverse. There's a mind-bending storyline released in 2012 which explores a chilling alternate reality where the Axis powers emerged victorious in World War II, but by doing so in a horrifying way. You see, they did so by becoming ravenous zombies. Now picture this, zombie fascists not content with consuming just our world, but now hungry for multiversal domination. Enter the unlikely duo of Howard the Duck and good old Earth's Dum Dum Dugan, tasked with preventing this nightmarish invasion. And since our main continuity remains uninfested by the undead Third Reich, I'm gonna take a guess and say they succeeded. At number 1 is realism. Superhero comics often dive headfirst into fantastic realms filled with magic, aliens, and some questionable science. But what if we injected a dose of realism into the mix? Warren Ellis did just that in 1995 with Ruins, a 2-part story that brutally dissected the real-life consequences of radioactive spider bites and massive radiation exposure. Now picture this, instead of transforming into the mighty Hulk, Bruce Banner succumbs to cancer. Professor X, rather than leading the X-Men, uses his secret mental powers to become the president who brutally suppresses mutants. There's no escape from the agony. Every beloved Marvel character is either already deceased, on their way to becoming deceased, or wishing they were deceased. It's a colossal downer, no sugarcoating it. This twisted take on the Marvel multiverse brings a stark reminder that even in the world of heroes, reality can be unforgiving and grim. There you have it, folks. As always, if there is an unheard of multiverse that you think I've missed, feel free to let me know down in the comments. This has been AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you all in another video. Later, nerds.